what's up you guys, this is Rob from BIG Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, I have a little bit of a news flash for you, and I'm very excited to go ahead and read this out, because DE is going to be putting some changes into effect for Miss Khora. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link in the description box below so that you can go ahead and see what I'm looking at, but I figured let's go ahead and cover this real quick, because I am definitely excited. It sounds even better than we've got. I know that there are some people who had issues with Khora. I was having lots of fun. However, she seems like she's gonna get even better. So let's go ahead and take a look at Khora's planned changes. PC Tenno, what a week it's been. This post aims to go over one main point of Beats of the Sanctuary, Khora. At a glance, I think the gap between Khora and Khora's release is one of the longest between releasing new Warframes. That alone doesn't feel too good. There are a lot of reasons for this, and most of them are layered in redesigns of the Warframe, IPS, quest goals, etc. The way Khora was released was certainly not the most ideal given the wait for a new Warframe, but we're gonna go make her better thanks to your experiences. As must be said for all time, everything below is subject to change. This is especially important. While we want to give you a sense of what we're planning, it's equally important that you know we are indeed planning. Here's what we are planning to do with Khora. Ability casting times have been shortened across the board. Natural talent is always great, but the base animations need shortening. This is definitely absolutely fantastic, because I think Mogamu was ranting about it on his stream, and he was saying that the cast animation for Strangle Dome was too long. And reactionary, it is definitely a long long cast time. Me personally, I always set up Strangle Dome kind of like proactively, so they're usually in kind of like where they're supposed to be placed at when enemies actually start flooding in. So for me, I didn't really notice how long it was because of the fact that I already had them down when enemies came by. But that is definitely fantastic, and the whip cracks get faster. So next up, Whipclaw. Whipclaw will apply to and benefit from the combo counter. This is something that I definitely asked for. I don't know if it was while I was in Mogamu's stream or if it was during one of my streams, but one of the things that is very similar to Atlas has his landslide, and that adds to the combo counter and maintains the combo counter. Unfortunately for Whipclaw, that wasn't the case, but now every whip crack should go ahead and add to your combo counter and also maintain it. That's the biggest part, especially if you're running Naramon. So that way, you know, your time ticker doesn't go down and your damage for Whipclaw stays faster. Alright, all enemies caught in the Strangle Dome will take half of Whipclaw's attack damage when one enemy in the Strangle Dome is hit with Whipclaw. So it's like one enemy is taking damage, then all of a sudden, whoosh, and then that damage does half the damage to the rest of them as well. So you don't have to be aiming, just as long as you smack one guy in the Strangle Dome, everybody's getting hit. And then, last thing is hitting an ensnared enemy with Whipclaw will cause the living metal to propagate. If you guys don't know what propagate means, it kind of means that it will like kind of pull enemies in the area of effect. So basically what happens is when you whip any enemies that are ensnared, it doesn't break the ensnare anymore. Instead, it just yanks more enemies in, which I'm into. Listen, I like a big old ball of whipping, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Ensnare. This is the next ability. Ensnaring affects multiple enemies. When an enemy is ensnared, the living metal will propagate and pull in every enemy within range. So I believe that before it was like one enemy at a time, but now I think it's pulling in every enemy within the range, which is nice. The living metal ensnaring enemies will then propagate a second time to pull in another wave of enemies in range. So basically, we have the initial cast, which pulls in the enemies, then these enemies are propagated, then they pull in another wave of enemies, which sounds really nice, and the most important one is the one I pointed out in my video. Procs no longer wake ensnared enemies. This is what I'm talking about. One of the biggest issues out there was that impact procs were waking up enemies from Ensnare, and that's a real big issue because, you know, Khora doesn't really have much survivability aside from her CC skills. So let's say she gets in a bad area and she wasn't proactive about putting down Strangle Domes, or she, accidentally woke up a really deadly enemy from an Ensnare. Because here's the thing, for those of you guys who don't know, you can cast Ensnare multiple times. You can Ensnare over here, Ensnare over there, Ensnare over there. So what I like to do is I like to toss down Ensnares at choke points that I don't have Strangle Domes in. So what happens is, I toss down a little ensnare, and then I walk off and I toss down another ensnare over there, and then when I come back to the first ensnare, you know, there's a little ball of enemies for me to go ahead and kill. But now it's even better because sometimes little Venari comes through, or somebody comes through with a little gun and ends up waking up one of those enemies. So now it's beautiful and wonderful, and they will just stay in a nice bundle of sleeping that I can whip. Now, moving on to Venari. Venari is now a passive ability. Venari is simply there, no casting required. When she dies, she will be revived when you revive. Ooh, okay, so now it sounds like revive mods are going to be a thing that you need. So, Metapet Kit, or at least Loyal Companion to keep them alive. Venari fights independently until she receives a command. Khora's third ability overwrites Venari's target and changes her battle posture at an energy cost. So, no longer needing to cast Venari and recast Venari, but if you are changing her battle posture, you are going to need to pay some energy for that one. Let's see. Kavat mods like Animal Instinct have been fixed, so they work properly on Venari. Yes, because that was definitely one of the issues. Venari was just not getting all of the damage buffs, but the last one is the best one. Venari deals slash damage to enemies instead of impact damage. Yes, because it made no sense. Impact was waking enemies up from Ensnare, and I was like, bitch, you waking up the things that I'm trying to put to bed, but you waking them up. But now Venari does slash damage, which is fantastic. Venari does have a very low status chance though, so that's kind of there. But last but not least, we get to Strangle Dome. Once an enemy dies in the Strangle Dome, they will drop to the floor, making room for new victims. Hallelujah! Because I believe they said that there are 26 vertices in Strangle Dome, and you really can't, like, what do you call this? You really can't improve the amount of vertices by adding power strength or adding range mods. Like, the vertices are always 26. So, you know, you can, I think it's a max of 52 if you got 2 out. So, 52 enemies is a lot, but now at least when they die inside the Strangle Dome, it can go ahead and grab another enemy, which is absolutely fantastic. We have other plans that are in progress to share yet. We'll update here with more information as we get it. We expect to release this to PC this week for the most part, so stay tuned to notes as each hotfix rolls out. We think Wednesday at the earliest, pending testing and implementation. P.S. We are also making some FX changes to simply have more oomph and visceral feels. Yes, I'm hoping. Please, Rebecca, if you're out there, visual team, if you're out there, by the way, I came from the gym, that's why I look crazy. If you're out there, I'm praying. Strangle Dome needs, this is a need. I understand you're planning on doing other things, but Strangle Dome needs to take on the color of Khora's metallics. It's just a thing. It's something that I need in my life. Regardless, I was already having a lot of fun with Khora. I'm very, very curious to see how you guys feel about these changes. Are you guys excited? Are you guys having lots of fun with her already? And are, like, even more excited to have her now? Because this does seem like she's going to have a little bit more synergy with Whipclaw. You know what I would have wished? Whipclaw, Strangle Dome, when you Whipclaw the Strangle Dome instead of the half damage slash proc. Slash proc would have been nice. I'm just putting that out there into the universe just in case you want to get any ideas. Maybe Venari gets a little bit of a status boost so that we could make use of the little slash procs. Give them a little bit of a nump. Regardless, tell me how you guys feel down in the comments below. I am very, very curious, mainly because of the fact that there have been a lot of people that have said a lot of really kind of ridiculous and odd things about Khora, like, oh, she can't do anything that other Warframes can't do better. I'm like, Vauban's Bastille just sits there. It doesn't drag enemies into it. Frost Snow Globe just lets enemies, like, shoot at it. And I'm like, this actually, Strangle Dome actually incapacitates enemies. You know, Nidus is cool with his little lava ball, but he gets one. He gets one. Khora can literally place down her ensnares in multiple areas and just chill. Have a little tea, pet the cat a little bit, let me get to you. I've got enough duration on my build so that, you know, I can have a moment to myself and then I could go ahead and Whipclaw your ass when I'm good and ready, and all your little friends came with you. So part of me is very confused when people kind of try to talk shit about her. Whipclaw did need some help. Venari definitely needed some fixes in there. But yeah. Are you guys excited now? Are you guys hyped? And are you guys curious what the other plans that they're having for Strangle Dome? Because Strangle Dome is becoming one of my favorite abilities. It looks wonky, doesn't have the right metallics, but I'm liking it a lot. So toss all of your feels in the comments below, and that about does it for me for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!